the world will return to gold as money.
Le fait que beaucoup d'États acceptent par principe des dollars au même titre que de l'or pour les règlements des différences qui existent à leur profit dans la balance des paiements américaine, ce fait entraîne les Américains à s'endetter et à s'endetter gratuitement vis-à-vis de l'étranger, car ce qu'ils lui doivent, ils le lui payent, tout au moins en partie, avec des dollars qu'il ne tient qu'à eux d'émettre. Étant donné les conséquences que pourrait avoir une crise qui surviendrait dans un pareil domaine, nous pensons qu'il faut prendre à temps les moyens de l'éviter. Nous estimons nécessaire que les échanges internationaux soient établis, comme c'était le cas avant les grands malheurs du monde, sur une base monétaire indiscutable et qui ne porte la marque d'aucun pays en particulier. Quelle base? En vérité, on ne voit pas qu'il puisse y avoir réellement de critères, d'étalons autres que l'or.
And from Bloomberg, Switzerland imports Russian gold for first time since the visit across the border. Seems the Swiss are finally coming to their senses and jumping off the doom sanctions bandwagon. Gold is gold. Time to get back to business. And Jeff Curry, who I've done multiple videos about, says the Fed cannot print commodities. And that's why I like them. And as you already know by now, Putin, oil supplies to China, India growing noticeably. Putin, BRICS are working on basket-based reserve currency, and it'll be backed by gold. Just watch.
Совместно с партнерами по БРИКС ведется разработка надежных альтернативных механизмов международных расчетов. Российская система передачи финансовых сообщений открыта для подключения банков стран «пятерки». Идет расширение географии и использования российской платежной системы МИР. Прорабатывается вопрос о создании международной резервной валюты на основе корзины валют наших стран.
And who remembers back in February this year where Cambridge came out with this piece, Can BRICS De-dollarize the global financial system? And in that Cambridge piece, now I'm not going to read all of this, but look at the amount of times they mention gold. Now, you can pause the video right now if you like, and you can read this whole thing, or I'll put a link in the description to the Cambridge article and you can read it in your own time. But what we'll do now is we'll cut to a short clip from Real Vision with Keith Weiner and Mike Green. Now, remember that Mike Green is not a gold guy.
So when I think about that, it then focuses me back into we have maybe a very different world. For me, gold had value primarily because it was the adopted monetary policy of many nations around the world for an extended period of time, right? It was respected as a tool to prevent various forms of counterfeiting and excessive seigniorage by kings, princes, queens, etc. throughout history. What would it take to see gold return to that type of role? Do you think it can return to that type of role at the center of a monetary system?
I think it's inevitable, and the only question is what path we take to get there. So a big part of my argument about falling interest rates and exponentially rising debt is that the system has a finite end that is coming. If the problem were simply inflation, which is more quantity of dollars and, more rising consumer prices, that doesn't necessarily have an end. I mean, that's been going on for well over 100 years. There's no reason why it couldn't go on for another 100 years or 1,000 years. But the rise of debt and the collapse of the interest rate are both trends that, can't be sustained forever. And so if we stay on the current trajectory, we get to collapse. Civilizations have collapsed before. Weimar Germany, the whole civilization doesn't collapse because the countries around it had not been so crazy as Weimar Germany was. But Rome collapsed in 476 AD, and that was the collapse of, greater part of the known world. Or alternatively, so my company, just to plug for us, we're trying to bring gold back into that role by paying interest on gold. And we do that not like these crypto DeFi, schemes of essentially selling it short and, trading schemes, but actually by financing productive enterprise, productive businesses that are using the gold and financing them. But either way, the dollar is failing. That's pretty clear. And then a lot of people are arguing over which paper currency would replace the dollar. And they argue there's no other paper currency that is remotely close to being able to replace the dollar. And they're all USD derivatives anyways. But gold is the one thing that can replace it. And the question is, does it do so, i.e. post-collapse? Or does it do so because there's some sort of graceful transition, which I think is a lot better for those of us that are likely to have to live through that.
So let's check out this thread from Ben Rickett. CIPS is a Chinese payment platform developed in conjunction with the Russians that mirror the Western SWIFT system. The pieces are being put into place to challenge the dollar. When all of those dollars get dumped, if you think inflation is bad now, wait until 90% of the world that has to own dollars to buy oil starts to shed those dollars in favor of other currencies, because now OPEC is allowing other currencies to buy oil. That is where we're heading. Petrodollar is non-existent, and all the dollars floating around the globe come back to the US. It will cause a massive hyperinflation. Skyrocketing interest rates, stocks, bonds, and real estate will all collapse together. And when it goes, it will be fast. And when that happens, not only do you see massive inflation, but interest rates will also go to the moon. There is your Klaus Schwab Great Reset moment, when the world dumps dollars. So after listening to Keith and reading Ben's tweet, I think it's probably wise for us to go back and read these books again. When Money Dies by Adam Ferguson, The Death of Money by Jim Rickards. If you guys haven't read it, either of these books, I highly recommend you guys do. Because a lot of what was written in these books, we're seeing happening today. So what do you guys think? Do you think gold will inevitably become the center of the monetary system again? I think all of us that believe in sound economics and sound money will be really encouraged and encouraging the BRICS nation and hoping that they do form whether it's a currency backed by gold, whether it's gold itself, whether it's a basket of different commodities, that will put pressure on the West. The West will be crazy to go down a IMF, SDR type central bank digital currency if the BRIC nations do have real money again. And because capital will just flee the West and move to these nations. I know I will be if that's the case. So the West may be forced to go back to gold or a basket of commodities. They won't like it. They don't want it. They want an IMF, SDR, central bank digital currency, something that they can print and control. They love central planning. They think with artificial intelligence and with technology now that they have overcome the problems that Mises talked about regarding price signals and allocating the allocation of scarce resources, but they haven't, they won't, they can't. Anyway, if you like this video, guys, please hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Love to see your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again on another episode of Finance Uncut.